Hey everyone, happy Sunday. I hope that wherever you are and whatever you're doing, you're having a good one. I know we haven't had a Sunday Musing yet for 2020. This is the first one.
Excellent, and it has all three of us in.
Yes, the first time we've had three of us for our Sunday Musing. Thank you to everyone who's been watching the CES 2020 coverage. I'm sorry that we missed one day. I will assure you that we've got lots and lots and lots of content coming out over the next probably 2 weeks or so. We've edited some stuff. The rest of the footage is actually in the box behind my seat. And then all of the editing gear is in the car and in the trailer. We are on our way home. We've got less than 400 miles before we make it back to Portland. It's just started snowing and we are at Yaks on the 5, which is a great place to stop if you are on the I-5 corridor and you want a place to stop and eat and charge.
Do you want to share that information? Because it's like our little secret that we come here.
Well, I mean, it's a fairly known secret, to be honest.
Well, yeah, all right.
But what I want to talk to you about today, and the reason we're sitting in the car, is because the topic today is about charging and the fact that we are women. Kate.
So we had some news at the beginning of the week that there had been an interview with Ivan Espinosa, who is Nissan's global product strategist, and he had some things to say.
Oh, good, about electric cars?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
excellent.
I mean, they've been selling the Leaf for 10 years, and they've learned some important things.
Well, so, before we go further, 10 years is crazy. 10 years for a Leaf.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Nissan for that. I think we should say that bit.
Yes, absolutely. Really great. We love the Leaf.
It's a great car.
Caveats, but yes, we love it.
Okay, carry on.
So he was asked about what they learned, and I've got the quote here because it's quite long.
So clearly, with a decade of experience, they obviously have something very important and something very data-backed.
Yes, it's very insightful. Yes. They've really got to the nub of the issue.
About how people use cars.
About the challenges of EV adoption. He said one of them is the hassle of charging.
Okay.
Obviously a big hassle. I've never noticed that myself, but big hassle.
Okay.
How easy or complicated this is has a big impact on the EV customer experience. Certainly.
That's true.
I mean, we've talked before about charging and, issues with cards and multiple different cards. Yeah. It is not just about time. It is simple things such as the location of the charger and even the weight of the cable.
Okay, so the heavier, the higher the power rate, so the faster the car can charge.
Yeah.
The heavier the cable, right? I mean, that's kind of logical.
Yeah. And we have noticed with your Bolt, as the cables have got heavier, it just needs a little bit of a hold to make sure that it can get through that first initial safety check to get before it starts charging.
On this trip, none of us have had trouble plugging in and holding the cable to wait for it to charge.
No,
right?
it's a couple of seconds. Hold it in while it locks. Okay, so what they've found is that we have a lot of female Leaf drivers, and in some cases the technology that we use today are not so friendly for them.
Keep going.
We've also learned many things about battery technology and the electric motor technology.
But that's a good thing.
Yes.
Did they say what they learned?
No. No.
Okay.
This is an interview with Automotive News Europe.
Yes.
The end of which was that we're going to start making more electrified vehicles.
Yes, it's one of our favourite terms, really, electrified.
Electrified meaning?
It's a hybrid.
It's got a motor in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So any car, Erin is looking exclusively at electrified vehicles for her next car. Because her contenders, Prius, Volt, they all have an electric motor in, but they also happen to have an internal combustion engine, but they're electrified.
Yes.
But they're not electric.
No.
And let's not throw into the mix here Lexus's latest ad, which lots of people reached out to me this morning about, that has a giant battery on the advert for their self-charging hybrid.
Ah, the one that they got slapped in Norway for.
No, I think this is a new one.
Oh, okay, they've tried again.
With a picture of a battery, and yeah.
Okay.
to emphasize that this is an electric vehicle.
Electrified.
Electrified. Oh, of
Electrified.
course. How
Nice.
stupid.
Yes.
My silly female brain just cannot cope with this.
No, it's very complicated.
Which is probably why Espinosa said what he said about charging. I mean, what's our charging experience been like, Erin? We've had to find guys.
A hassle.
We've had to find guys, haven't we? At every.
Yeah.
Yeah, every charging station, we just have to sit here and wait until someone walks
My
past.
limp wrist. I can't. I
mean,
can't.
We've had to put Erin at the side of the road showing some legs sometimes just to get people to plug in.
You'd be amazed what ankle does.
Yeah.
It can get you places.
But seriously, this kind of comments from an executive in the auto industry in 2020.
Yeah.
Erin?
It's shameful. It's quite sad, especially for a company, again, that you guys said has been in the business with making EVs for so long. And the statements he's making are not at all factual or backed by any data or anything. They're just opinions, hearsay, things like that.
And every female driver that I've met of an electric car, be it a Leaf, a Bolt, anything else, they are totally okay with the fact they have to plug their car in.
In fact,
Yeah.
it's not much different than getting gas.
I mean, would you say you still drive a gas car, right? So
Yeah, they're
would
the
you
same.
say the weight of that connector is about the same as the weight of a gas
The
hose?
connector is actually lighter because it's mostly plastic.
Right.
A gas, like the actual nozzle that the gas comes out of, actually has a lot more metal components in it than a electric car plug does. It's just, it's minimal difference in my opinion.
And dealing with the paying for it. Let's deal with the paying for it.
Yeah.
Has that been a complex thing?
No, you have the app. I have the apps. It is more of a pain. Well, actually, it's less of a pain than going to a gas station here because sometimes it's like you have to pay ahead of time.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
the US, you have to sometimes. It's quite common in the US,
If you're
in my
paying
experience.
cash.
Yeah.
You have to go in and you go, "Hey, I have this money," and they go, "How much do you want?" And you say, "I want," and I have no idea because
Yes. A quantity. I'd like the tank to be full, ideally.
when this car was broken, well, was it when it was being looked at?
Yeah.
It's going to go back to the shop when we get back. I think it's the transmission. I think there's something wrong with the hubs. It's still making the noise. But we haven't heard it so much actually with it laden down, which is the funny thing.
Yeah,
with the car laden down and towing, it's been fine.
You just have to drive it like this
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was filling up the rental or the loaner car when we took it back, I pulled into my local superstore gas station, and because I have the loyalty card, all of my points from my grocery shopping go towards saving money off gasoline. And I pulled up and I said, "Oh, I've got my phone number," and gave him the phone number so he could tap it in and see the discount. And he said, "Wow, you've got $1.10 off a gallon."
Which is insane.
I said, and he was like really surprised. I said, "Oh, is that good?" And he kind of looked at me and I went, "I drive an electric car. I have no concept of how much gasoline it is."
Typically, for me, I'll get anywhere from 10 to 30 cents. If I'm really good, I'll get 40 cents. But
there you
that's,
go.
yeah.
There you go. So I would say the experience actually is better.
I would say not having to visit gas stations makes my life immeasurably better.
The only thing that I would say maybe for women, and this is what I want you to talk about in the comment section, is that sometimes charging stations can be in some pretty
You say it's sketchy.
sketchy neighbourhoods. Thank you. The word I was thinking of was a curse word. But it,
Dingy,
And some of them don't
spooky.
have any facilities near them, so
No.
you end up, if you go to them and you mistime things, then you do have to kind of hang around, and that can be less fun if someone decides they want to talk to you and you don't.
Are you saying you don't want to be at the world's largest thermometer at 1 a.m.?
I can't say that was my favourite experience.
and
in
that
the
was
world.
this time last year when we came up to CES last year. We did a different route, but I think I agree that if the charging stations are in a sketchy neighbourhood and it's late at night and you have some drunk come by or just some random person, I do feel more threatened
There was one instance when we were actually out and eating and we came back, and I think Nevada police had pulled over someone, and there was about 4 cop cars surrounding it, and it was on our way back to our charger. So we're like, oh God, what happened?
Well, actually, it was at that same charging station yesterday where that guy came up in the big lifted pickup truck with the big pipes. And he kind of looked really slowly at the charging station and then tore off. And I did feel threatened then.
And when I used to drive down to see you in the i3, and that needed charging to get the distance, the charger at that particular Walmart, electric vehicles are not very popular there. You tend to get a lot of pickups doing a slow cruise past, staring out at.
And you think that does make me feel threatened.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I wouldn't say that the experience of charging, you know, I wouldn't say that the experience, certainly not the physicality of
the actual
removing the
hardware.
plug and plugging it in.
The actual
That's
hardware.
not a problem for me as a woman. I'm like, he seems to imply that women have, like, a tiny fraction of a percent of strength compared to a guy.
Yes.
Which seems silly. And I know that he may be coming from a Japanese perspective or a cultural perspective in which women are perceived as being weaker. But I think that is a very outdated misogynistic view.
It sounds very 1950 or prior.
Yeah.
However, you were sent a very interesting advertisement, actually, from, was it GE, was it?
From, somebody, I can't remember who it was. We gave him a shout out previously.
Well,
so
who made the advertisement originally?
Who emailed us the thing, and it was in the subject of,
Yeah.
you know, it was a charging station advert from the early 20th century for an electric car, in which it actually praised electric cars as being easier for women to use.
Yes.
And it was for a General Electric accumulator.
Yeah.
Which
It was
a charging station, basically, for your Baker Electric. So there you go. Anyway, let us know what you think of all of that in the comments below. So tell us, do you think that Espinosa is full of it? Do you think that women are perfectly capable of using charging stations? This is a trick question, by the way.
Do you think our wrists are too frail to lift the heavy cables?
Noodly arms.
Noodly arms. I mean, I wear these because I get wrist pains, but it's because I have, in the winter, I get cold. I have bad circulation due to the medication I'm on for my heart. A couple of people asked me a couple of weeks ago when I made a comment about a weird heart in the comments section. My heart is fine. I have long QT syndrome or borderline long QT syndrome, so I have an implanted cardiac monitor that is checking my heart rate because I want to come off the medication that I got put on because the heart, that medication slows my heart rate down and it slows my circulation as well. So that was just kind of tying into a video from a couple of weeks ago. But let us know what you think in the comments below about this stupid comment. Let us know about what you think about EV ownership and long distance driving as a woman. Do you, if you are a woman, do you feel threatened at some of the locations of the charging stations? How do you get around that? And if you're a guy, do you feel the same thing? Because I know plenty of guys who feel equally as threatened. It's not just a gender straight down the line thing.
It's not a hardware problem.
It's not a hardware problem.
It's a society problem.
It's a societal problem. All right, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Support us through Patreon, Ko-fi, buy some swag from our swag store. You'll be pleased to know we're going to be doing this all again in a couple of weeks' time to go down to Fully Charged Live in Austin, Texas, on February 1st and 2nd. If you are coming, I hope to see you there, as does the rest of the team. We'll be pushing out more content, but until then, keep evolving.